WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Heal Yourself Show with Drs. Jonathan Chung and Greg Jean-Pierre of Keystone Chiropractic in Wellington and the Upper Cervical Institute of Florida. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre are chiropractors with a focus on correction of the upper cervical spine. Together they have worked with some of the leading doctors and health experts in the country and have helped thousands of patients regain their health from a variety of chronic health problems related to the structural alignment of the head and neck. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre have authored and published in peer-reviewed scientific journals. They've also been featured speakers around the country on topics ranging from head injury, chronic pain, spinal health, and fitness. Their goal is to teach you how to unlock the doctor within and heal yourself. Join them today as they share their passion for serving families and helping people who could not get better through traditional and alternative means. Call the Heal Yourself Show at 888-565-1470.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Heal Yourself radio broadcast. I'm Dr. Jean-Pierre from Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, and as always, sitting next to me is Dr. Jonathan Chung from Keystone Chiropractic of Wellington. The purpose of the Heal Yourself broadcast is to inform the listening audience about solutions to some of the most common issues affecting the general public. Our premise is that the body is a self-healing, self-regulating, self-adapting mechanism, and we want to teach you how to tap to the doctor that lies within you. It is important to understand that all healing is self-healing, and we have within our body the capacity and potential to recover from stress and trauma that produces pain. A catalyst is needed, however, to activate the self-healing mechanism within us. And the primary purpose of the NUCA work, which is what we do, is to serve as the catalyst by delivering a precise adjustment to release that potential for the body to heal itself, to restore the spine to its normal biomechanical balance, and allow the body to actually live with a pain-free and return back to homeostasis.
And this is Dr. Jonathan Chung on the air with Dr. Greg Jean-Pierre, and it's always a pleasure to be on the show with you, Greg. And one of the best things that I love about our job is that, you know, we really get to help people of all shapes and sizes. So for the past 4 or 5 weeks, we really talked about, you know, chronic degenerative conditions where NUCA has had a tremendous amount of success. So we've talked about headaches, we've talked about migraines, high blood pressure, multiple sclerosis, head injuries, and today we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart because we're going to be talking about athletics, fitness, sports and performance, and we're even going to talk about recovery from injuries in some of these sports that we're playing. So I'm really excited about the show today.
Yeah, me too. And again, as those of you know, my former career was an athletic trainer, so that's what I did before I became a chiropractor. So I'm excited about that, going back to time. So again, as always, this is a live show, so audience participation is always recommended. And so give us a call here at 1-888-565-1470 if you have any questions. Later on, we have a contest that we're going to go over, and we have some exciting prizes. So listen in. We're going to ask a question, and we have 3 different prizes here from the Golf Superstore in Delray. So listen in and definitely call. The number is 1-888-565-1470. And as always, you can tune in to the Heal Yourself radio broadcast at healyourselfradio.com, and you can watch us live and tune into this show.
Well, let's get into it, Dr. Greg. You know, both of us have a little bit of a fitness background, and we've played sports in our lives. And one of the things that I did when I was growing up is I played baseball growing up. And I played all the way from, you know, being 5 years old up to the point where I was playing in high school. I've always been really active and played sports, and even now, you know, I'm an avid CrossFitter. And there are times where I think about if I had known the benefits of how having an optimal frame and an optimal nervous system could have helped me back in when I was playing high school baseball, I think it would have made a world of difference.
Yeah, and again, it's the same thing as you. Growing up in high school, I ran track, I ran cross country, I played soccer, and I even played a little bit of golf, even though I never went to competition, but that was a way of me to get out of class. So I actually never really played golf, but I got out of class by being on the golf team. And also I play a lot of volleyball. And just like so many of you that are weekend warriors or people that just exercise, when you're moving like that, there seems to be a lot of pain and aches and stuff that's going on. And again, if we knew back then how important having a structurally sound spine and structurally sound nervous system is or was, I know for a fact we would have taken advantage of it back then.
And one of my favorite analogies for this is Dr. James Chestnut talks about, your lifestyle is related to you carrying a backpack. And if you're carrying a backpack and you're out in the woods, you want to have a really minimalist standpoint because you don't want to be carrying all that weight going from place to place while you're climbing and going camping or doing whatever. And he makes the analogy is that lifestyle factors affect us in a way that putting stuff in that backpack can affect us. So, when people are getting adjusted and they're eating the right things and putting a good mindset on things, then it's like having an empty backpack. But when people eat poorly, their spine is a wreck, and they have a poor mental attitude, then it's like adding a brick in their backpack for every single negative thing they have going on.
That's a great analogy, but to take it even further, what's in your backpack is important, but just like we talk about, we are structural chiropractors, and it's all about being in a balanced state. So if you are doing any exercise and you have poor posture and you're in an unbalanced state, so you're wasting a lot of energy that could be used for athletic performance, but you're using those energies just to be able to stand up straight or just to be able to balance. So the goal of what we do is really to get you in the optimal position so you can perform your whatever event that you do in a much better way.
And I think one of the really interesting things is that a lot of athletes, especially professional athletes, use chiropractic beyond pain. So there's lots of people that get chiropractic care even though their history of low back pain and neck pain and these other conditions is basically non-existent. So I could think of, popular chiropractic endorsers are people like Emmett Smith, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods is a well-known chiropractic advocate, Lance Armstrong. And the list just really goes on and on. I even saw a poster with Tom Brady making a great comment about chiropractic.
And while you mentioned that, I was just looking because I just saw a stat here that says about at least 90% of world-class athletes uses chiropractic on a regular basis to prevent injuries and to improve their performance. It says 31% of NFL team uses chiropractors in an official capacity, and their staff and a full 77% of trainers as refer to chiropractors. And a survey NFL trainers revealed that 100% of them agree that players that use chiropractic without referral from their team medical doctors. So again, chiropractic, just to put it simply, not only allow you to recover from injury, but put in you a better state so you can perform better, so you can prevent those injuries to begin with.
And I actually want to I want to hear from our listeners about their experience with chiropractic and their athletic performance. So definitely give us a call, 888-565-1470. We want to hear about your experience in athletics, so whether you've had an injury, whether you've not had an injury, or you just have a question about how chiropractic can aid in your performance or help in your recovery, then give us a call at 888-565-1470. In fact, I think we have a caller on the line already. I think she wants to share her experience. I think we have Kaylin on the line.
Hey, Kaylin, how are you?
Hi, hello, I'm good, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Kaylin.
Well, I have had chiropractic care in my life because I've been pretty athletic in gymnastics, and I did some pole vaulting and now CrossFit, and I'm a huge advocate for it just because it's helped my performance and recovery. And I'm just grateful for having the upper cervical work specifically done for myself.
So you do get upper cervical work?
I do. I'm actually going into a CrossFit competition this weekend, injury-free, and I'm looking forward to going in injury-free because I know a lot of CrossFitters become, have injuries going into competitions, and I don't have that. So I'm really excited to be able to go in injury-free.
That's pretty awesome, Kaylin. I mean, I'm an avid CrossFitter myself, and just going through some of the workouts and the increasing difficulty of the movements and the increasing loads on the weight, I couldn't imagine going through a lot of that with a spine that was out of balance. Do you have any specific stories you want to share about your experience with CrossFit and chiropractic?
Actually, one specific, I actually kind of had a question for you. I know that a handstand push-up is a main basic movement in CrossFit, and I know the relationship to the head and neck and spine, the importance of the Atlas. Just doing handstand push-ups, do you have any recommendations as to what I need to be doing to prevent injuring that area?
Okay, that's a really great question. So, handstand push-ups are definitely one of the more challenging movements in CrossFit, and one of the ways that a lot of CrossFitters have actually done to offset the challenge of it is they use a motion called kipping. And basically what kipping means is that you're using your core and your legs to provide momentum to push yourself out, so you're using less strength of your arms and more from the momentum of your body to achieve the repetition. Now, doing that comes with a cost. If you don't do it properly, you're basically mashing your head against the ground and you're compressing especially your cervical spine. I was actually reading a really interesting article. It had 7 reasons not to do kipping push-ups in your training, and the 7 reasons are basically C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, and C7. And what that means is basically your neck is made out of 7 bones, and there's 7 discs that go through there. With those 7 discs, you could actually compress them, and if you land on them the wrong way, you could actually create inflammation in the joints and possibly create herniations and pinch on those nerves. So what I recommend for every athlete is basically learn to be able to do the handstand push-up strict. So not using any momentum, using just the power of your arms, and you'll have the kipping skill so that you could use it in the sense of a competition or a place where you truly need it, but there's no sense to expose yourself to the risk of having a severe neck injury if you can't kip efficiently and to use it during your training periods.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends are timid to do CrossFit because they don't want to injure themselves, but if there's other ways to prevent those injuries through upper cervical work or, a better way, I think that's what the information we need to have out there, and that's why I enjoy following your blog, too. You have some good information.
Thank you so much, Kaylin. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then, my rule of success would be get stronger first, and then add kipping into your repertoire as a skill, and then once you could do it efficiently, then use kipping as a way to supplement your reps when you run out of strength from the push of your arms, and I think that'll take you a long way.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call, Kaylin.
Awesome, Caitlin. That was a great call. And we're going to take a break. But first, she brought a couple of really interesting questions, because I've gotten a lot of questions in my office about people coming in. It's like, well, as a chiropractor, what do you feel about CrossFit? And there's been a lot of things going on the news talking about injuries and stuff like that. And I want to take some time when we come back from break to actually discuss these things, because that's what I answer all the time, CrossFit and chiropractic and spine injuries and stuff like that. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're also going to have a quick contest going on for the first 3 callers that we're giving away a couple cool gifts here. 45-minute individual lesson from the Golf Superstore in Delray. I have a $20 gift card here, and also a 1-year free membership. So listen carefully. We're going to ask some very simple questions, and the first 3 callers, you get to choose which one you want, and we're going to be giving away some good cool gifts here.
When was the last time you had your Atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an Atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after 1 correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
Are you searching for answers to your health problems? Are you looking for an alternative to harmful drugs and dangerous surgery? Have you tried everything else and figured this is just something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life? At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we provide you with a safe, effective, and natural approach to restoring your health and regaining your life. Dr. Jean Pierre will find the cause instead of masking the symptoms. Dr. Jean Pierre utilizes the most specific techniques in detecting and correcting the vertebral subluxation. At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we pride ourselves in providing you with the highest standards of healthcare for you and your entire family. The procedure is gentle, effective, and affordable for everyone. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 561-409-3594. That's 561-409-6594. Or visit our website at www.uci-fl.com.
And welcome back. Before we left, we got a real interesting conversation about CrossFit. And again, CrossFit, as we know, it's like sweeping the nation right now. There's so many gyms, and I think as chiropractors ourselves, it has become the sports that we adapt, and we actually go to the same gym. But again, I have a lot of people's patients or non-patients that are coming in and asking me a lot of questions about injuries in CrossFit. So I want to actually talk about that. And I actually had that experience myself. When the very first time I tried CrossFit, I actually hurt my back. But that gym that I went to, one of the things that they didn't do is teach you about the movement. So they just throw you in there and you did whatever you had to do. And, you know, I was compensating. I wasn't doing it right. And even though I knew what I was doing, I still didn't do it right. So I just wanted to take a little time to actually talk about the idea of what CrossFit is and how we can actually go about doing it the right way so we can prevent getting injured.
Yeah, you know, I get that question a lot as well, because it's no secret that a lot of my friends and a lot of the people in the community know that I'm an avid CrossFitter. I've been doing this for about 4 years. And, you know, CrossFit does get a rap for, you know, being dangerous and hurting a lot of people. You see a lot of stuff on social media about it. And the truth of the matter is, you know, any sport that you play or any athletic activity that you do is going to subject you to a slightly increased risk of injury. Now, as things become more popular, and of course more people do it, and of course the rates of injury will naturally start to go up. At the same time, a lot of the stuff that's going on in CrossFit and that's getting a bad rap for, just for lack of better words, comes from people not approaching it intelligently. And there's people that are poor trainers in the gym that may guide an athlete the wrong way. There are people that just quite simply overtrain because there's no defense against overtraining. And there's just people that just do things that are, for lack of better words, are stupid. So if you see people that are like jumping around on rings or throwing weight around that they're not prepared for, then of course you're going to get injured. But it just all comes down to finding the right gym, finding the right coaches, and approaching your activities with a little bit of smarts and intelligence to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, and I love the way you put it, because CrossFit really is an athletic sport. None of us would be stupid enough to actually go and join a football game without having practiced the proper way and actually warm up and everything. And a lot of time, and I can speak for myself, that's exactly what I did. The reason why I injured myself is because I didn't really know what I was doing, because I just started CrossFit. I was trying to keep up with everybody, and the gym that I joined really didn't spend time to educate the athletes about the proper lifting technique, the way to actually do things the right way. So yeah, just like you said, it's very popular. There's a lot of people are actually joining CrossFit. So the more people that you have, the more likely people are going to to start doing things the wrong way and start injuring themselves. But I mean, for me, I still do CrossFit now. I mean, it's so much fun. Whenever you get somebody that does CrossFit, they have such passion for it, and if you do it the right way, you can benefit greatly from it. So you really, just like you said, have to find a gym that actually focus on training you the right way so you can do the right thing. And I think one other thing is, when you mention overtraining, a lot of the injuries seems to happen towards the end when people are fatigued and tired, and they try to do that last rep, or they try to overdo it, and they lose their biomechanics, or they lose their technique, and that's when they get injured.
Before I go into my next point, I got a quick joke for you. So how do you know when someone's a CrossFitter?
They won't shut up about
it. Don't worry about it. They'll let you know.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always encourage people to do when they're approaching CrossFit is, be real about what your athletic ability is. So if you're someone that hasn't touched a weight in 5 or 6 years, then take your time. Don't start putting weight on the bar. Just do the bar for a little while. You don't have to jump into a handstand push-up. You could do the scaled movements, and it's fine, because a lot of people are actually quite surprised that a lot of the people that I work out with are actually people in their 40s, 50s, some in their 60s that are just looking to get healthy again. A lot of people are under this impression that, I have to be in this ridiculous shape before I start CrossFit. And the truth is, most good CrossFit gyms will take someone who is not fit at all and take them through the process of getting fitter. And once you go through that, it's kind of just like being on a playground for big kids.
Yeah, I think you just hurt me with that comment, because that's how I got injured. The first time I tried CrossFit, I remember there was a couple guys there, but it was mostly women. So they were putting weights on there, and I haven't done any type of activity in a while. And I'm like, you know what? These women are not going to beat me. And I put so much weight on there, and I overdid it, and I hurt myself. Because again, just like anything else, there's muscle memory involved, there's biomechanics involved. These women were used to doing what they were doing, and I just overdid it. So again, CrossFit, I mean, I can't stop talking about it, because that's how I've gotten in shape, and that's how I'm going to continue to get in shape. And it can be beneficial in every way, but just like anything else, proper biomechanics is important. You got to figure out what's right and know your limit, and don't try to compete with anybody, even though it seems like a competitive atmosphere. But go at your own pace, and the body's actually going to adapt. You don't want to just go and lift twice that you ever lift before, but allow your body to actually get into the movement and in the journey. That's what CrossFit really is.
Definitely, because my favorite thing about the philosophy of CrossFit is that it's all about being prepared for anything. And when you have that mindset that you're training to be prepared for anything, then you go through all these different movements and motions to get set up to lift more weight than you might have ever thought you were possible, or to endure going through a long hike that you didn't think your legs would be able to handle before. So that's what I love about CrossFit, is just that preparation for anything. Well, and I want to hear from CrossFitters. Call us at 888-565-1470 and give us a call and let us know what you think about it. And if you love it, if you hate it, the air's open for you.
Actually, I think we just got a caller. Lisa, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I am wonderful.
Okay, I have a quick question. I've been suffering with back pain, and it seems primarily at night. When I'm sleeping is when I'm having the worst pain. It's in my lower hip. And it's not traveling. I thought it may have been like sciatica, but it's not actually traveling down into my leg.
So what are some things that make it worse? You mentioned that lying down in bed is the worst for you. Are there any specific movements that hurt?
Initially I thought it was from my mattress, and I bought a new mattress, a firm mattress, but that hasn't helped either. So I'm fine throughout the day walking around, but as soon as I lay down, I start getting pain in like the lower right side of my back.
Lisa, do you recall ever have any accidents, injury, fall, anything that may even seem insignificant for you in the past 5 years or so?
No.
No. Okay. And it sounds like, and a lot of people make the same mistake that you do, that the very first thing you do, you go and buy a new mattress and see if that's going to make it go away. But again, even though you may not remember having an injury, something had to happen. And what we talk about here is structural. Your back is kind of the base of support for everything, but when the atlas is shifted at a position, it literally throws off your entire body. It throws off the alignment, and that can actually cause pain. And ironically enough, the reason why you may be suffering from it in the afternoon or when you lay down is because over time you putting undue pressure in that spine, creating the pain towards the end of the evening. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, have you seen any doctors for this or any chiropractors for this?
I haven't seen anybody for it.
Okay, so one of my best recommendations...
It seems like it's getting progressively worse. That's why I'm saying...
Okay.
It used to be once in a while. Now it's like every night I'm suffering with this pain.
I got it. Well, it definitely sounds like something that, going through your history and doing some preliminary exams would be really important to find out what's actually causing the pain, because there's so many things that could...
it's an injury. You think it's an injury?
It could be an old injury, it could be degeneration, it could be, inflammation at the nerve, and that's one of the things that's important to sit down with a doctor of chiropractic or your medical physician to go through your history, find out what's been going on, and to do some preliminary exams, because if your spine shifts out of place and it starts irritating that nerve, then it could certainly be a cause of that back pain. So if you stay on the line and go on hold with our producer, he'll give you some contact information, and a good chiropractor should definitely be able to go over your health history, and we'll usually do that at no charge and let them know if they can help you.
Okay, that would work. Thank you.
All right, please hold, and we'll get your name and contact information from our producer, and we'll definitely make sure that we get you to the right place.
Oh, all right, great. And Lisa, thank you for calling. And just to piggyback on that, a lot of times people start getting pain and symptoms, or especially low back pain, and what they do is they wait it out. They hope that, by changing mattress, by doing different things, that the pain will go away. But typically what happens is it starts getting worse. You really want to get checked. Get yourself into a good chiropractor, just to actually check to see how the body's going, because again, something that may have been easier to fix back then now is getting progressively worse and may take a long time. So always get check-ins. It's really hard to kind of see what's going on without having you in front of me, but get checked, get the problem under control, so it doesn't get any worse in the long run.
And one of the things that she brought up was a good point, is that you can think of an injury that may have been linked to it. And the way I like to make that comparison is, if you considered, their spine to be like the foundation of a building, if the foundation of your building goes off even just a little bit, then over the course of months and even years, then you're going to see that the building is going to start to break down, it's going to start to crumble. Same thing if your spine is the foundation for your body. If it's off just by a little bit, you may not feel it in the very beginning, but over time, if you give it months, years, that process will start to degenerate those spinal discs. It'll make movement of the lower spine start to lose its normal range of motion, and then all of a sudden you do something like pick up a pillow or pick up a feather or pick up some small object, and your back goes out. And a lot of people want to say, yeah, I just picked up this small object and my back went out, and that's what caused it. But the reality is the cause was long-term immobility, breakdown, and degeneration.
And that's why I love what we do in the office. When you come in, we do take some very specific x-rays that kind of pinpoint when the problem started. Because a lot of time, like she's mentioning, she's talking about the symptoms. The symptoms started here, the symptoms started here. But based on the x-ray and the level of arthritis or degeneration or things that we see on x-ray, we can kind of tell you, you know what, even though the pain started yesterday or last week, the problem really started 5-10 years ago. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I remember I had something that happened then. So you definitely want to get in, get evaluated, and again, if you anywhere close to where we are, as far as from West Palm Beach all the way down to Broward, we are having specials where you can take advantage of a $100 gift card that we offering that you can come in and use towards your first visit evaluation. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break, but before I leave, we've been talking about CrossFit. Definitely listen next week because we have a cool gift for you. One of the gyms that we go to, which is CrossFit Hardcore, is giving some lucky listener a full month membership to CrossFit Hardcore. They have several locations throughout the Palm Beach area, so definitely listen next week. We're going to give that away. So let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back talking about golf.
Are you searching for answers to your health problems? Are you looking for an alternative to harmful drugs and dangerous surgery? Have you tried everything else and figured this is just something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life? At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we provide you with a safe, effective, and natural approach to restoring your health and regaining your life. Dr. Jean Pierre will find the cause instead of masking the symptoms. Dr. Jean Pierre utilizes the most specific techniques in detecting and correcting the vertebral subluxation. At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we pride ourselves in providing you with the highest standards of healthcare for you and your entire family. The procedure is gentle, effective, and affordable for everyone. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 561-409-3594. That's 561-409-6594. Or visit our website at www.uci-fl.com.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
And welcome back. Before we went on break, we had a caller, so we're just going to go into that first, and then we'll get into the golf aspect of the show. Ariel, are you there?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I was just calling to make a comment.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, I actually ran track at FAU in college. I was on scholarship.
Awesome.
And we saw chiropractors very regularly.
Oh, great! And let me ask you this: what difference did you notice when, let's say, you were not performing properly, and what difference did you notice after an adjustment?
It would just help. I would have more energy, and it would help me perform better as far as like working out during the week because we train a lot. We train 4 to 5 days a week, so it would help me with training during the week. I have more energy. I was able to lift better. I had more power. I was a long jumper and a sprinter, so I had more power, and I felt better.
Great. So as far as athletics, so it wasn't necessarily due to injury, but it was also to increase energy and also increase performance.
Yes, it did. It helped
Okay,
her.
and
It
but
helped
did
a
they
lot.
also talk to you guys about injury prevention and get adjusted when you were injured as well?
Yes.
Awesome.
Because we had along with that we had trainers and things like that, so it definitely helped us. We saw our chiropractor very regularly. He came in once a week, which was good for us.
Okay, and did that? And you mentioned you ran track, but did all the sports in FAU actually had such services
Every
available to
sport.
them?
Every sport.
That's great. Do you continue seeing a chiropractor now?
I do continue to see a chiropractor.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Great. And well, I want to piggyback on what she said. And again, the purpose of chiropractic adjustments is not about injury, so to speak, although it can prevent you from injury, but it's really to align your body to allow you to have more energy. One of the things that you talked about, having more energy, and we talk about that in our office all the time. If you crooked, twisted, and your body's not functioning properly, you're wasting a lot of energy just on postural muscle. By getting everything back upright and stable, then the body can work more efficiently because it's no longer wasting all that energy on just trying to keep your head on straight.
There's actually some research to validate this too. There's actually been studies on upper cervical chiropractic in specific where, they had a group of athletes who got adjusted compared to athletes that didn't get adjusted. And the athletes who were getting adjusted actually had a slightly lower resting heart rate, which of course is an indicator of higher physiologic capacity and better physiologic performance than their non-adjusted counterparts. And they also had a study out down in, I believe, New Zealand or Australia, where they tested people before they got adjusted and after they got adjusted, they tested their reflexes on a reflex test on the computer, and they actually showed that people, when they got their adjustments, showed about an 8% improvement in their reflex ability compared to before they got adjusted.
It just makes sense. Well, we're going to start talking about golf now, but before I even begin, now we have these cool gifts here, so the next three callers during this segment in order, can have their choice of this. We have a free 1-year membership at the PGA Superstore in Delray, and if you're a golfer, you have not gone to the store, you're missing out. This store is awesome. And we also have a 145-minute individual lesson with a certified golf instructor, and of course a $20 gift card to the PGA Superstore in Delray. All right, so let's get right into it.
Let's give them the number so they could call in for that.
Oh yeah, I guess that's important, right? It's 1-888-565-1470, 1-888-565-1470, and again, the next three callers get to choose one of these gifts.
Awesome. So, let's talk about golf a little bit. So we know that Tiger Woods has always been, a big proponent of golf. So how does, spinal health play a role in golf performance?
Well, again, golf is a very physically demanding sport, yet we see it treated like something that you do on the weekend. The level of muscle activity that you have to use when you golf, it's pretty much the same as sports like football, ice hockey, and martial art. The difference is none of the athletes would actually go and do these sports without warming up, without proper spinal mechanics and stuff like that. So there's a lot of injuries in golf, and that's why it happened. If you think about the golf swing itself, pretty much every muscle in your body is being used if you're doing it properly. So most golfers, they just go there on the weekend, they don't practice, they don't stretch, they don't do anything, and start injuring themselves. And you mentioned Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has been like the poster boy of golf, but look at his body type versus what we used to see way back when. And the reason why he's so successful is because of his regiment and attitude toward golf and his physical abilities. But guess what? Tiger would also talk about being adjusted and being in alignment, and how that allows him to actually hit the ball a lot further.
Absolutely. And I also want to take care of the elephant in the room too, is even though Tiger Woods has suffered injuries in the past, if he had not gotten chiropractic care beforehand, just his level of training, just swinging 300 times per day, his spine may have broken down even faster, because golf puts so many rotational forces into the spine, and that just creates so much shear, especially in that lumbar spine, that people that golf and they don't get chiropractic care, it kind of boggles my mind.
Yeah, and again, it's all about biomechanics and physics in golf. And I saw these numbers here. In 1974, the handicap for men was 16, and again, the handicap for women was 29. The average round of golf was 103, and golfers know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. And in 2000, the handicap for men was 16 again, and in 2000, the handicap for women was 29. And so there's been no changes in the past 26 years, but yet the secret to better golf comes down to a couple of things: flexibility, postural stability with the swing, and you got to overcome it by nutrition, environmental, and allergen. And the number one thing that keeps people from the golf court is back pain, and that's for men. And in women, it's elbow. The golf is elbow. So again, you got to take it seriously, and we love to talk about biomechanics and stability, because again, when your center of gravity shift, and that's really important in golf and in life, when your center of gravity shift, the weight is being distributed unevenly, and there's no way you can get a proper swing, a proper turnaround when all that stuff is not working out 100% altogether.
Yeah, and I was actually recently just started taking care of a patient. He's a young guy. He's in high school, and he's part of the high school golf team. And just through the course of his golf game, he started developing this really severe scap pain in his shoulder blade, and a lot of doctors were just scratching their head. They couldn't figure it out. And a lot of the orthopedists couldn't find any herniations, and they just had no idea what was going on. And we found that his atlas was actually the culprit. It was twisted and rotated, and this kid who was suffering for months just trying to figure out why his shoulder always hurt when he moved his neck. We just got down to it. We saw a biomechanical fault in his neck, and once we restored that, he became pain-free again.
And that's actually kind of brought me back to the last caller, Lisa. A lot of time when I ask people about whether they have an accident injury, they don't think about the things that they do on a daily basis. There's something called repetitive trauma. So again, if you swinging the club wrong over and over and over again, and you're putting yourself in a compromised position, that's repetitive trauma. That is going to put your body in a certain position that's going to compromise, and over time you're going to lose spinal flexibility, which is going to lead to injury. So again, you got to make sure that you're doing it right. And especially Lisa, I didn't ask her what she did for a living, but I see a lot of people that sits on the computer all day, and they're in that crooked, twisted position all day long. That's repetitive trauma. That's going to throw off everything out of position.
It's pretty interesting. We're giving away a couple of prizes, but we haven't had any biters yet. So if you're out there and you're listening, you want some free golf gear, give us a call, 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. It's basically an open competition right now, so one phone call can definitely get you some free prizes. But one thing that I really wanted to bring up, and this is something that CrossFitters and golfers share alike, and that is people that CrossFit and people that golf, they love to CrossFit and they love to golf. And one of the biggest frustrations that they have is that they go to the doctor's office and they say, "Doc, whenever I go and golf or whenever I go and CrossFit, my back kills me." And the natural response from most of these doctors are, well,
muscle relaxant.
You're 40 years old, stop golfing or stop doing that. And to people, that's like taking the one thing that they love and enjoy in their life, the one thing that they do to get away from the stresses of work and paying bills and all this stuff, is just spending some time at the gym and then on the golf course. And that's one of the things I think that separates us, Dr. Greg, is that if someone loves doing something, it's not my job to take that away from them. It's my job to figure out what do I need to do in order to help get this person their quality of life back. Because when they're missing that, then they're missing their quality of life. So what can we do? How can we identify, functional movement problems in the person, functional spinal problems in that person, that if we correct it and we give them the right strategies to keep it corrected, that they could go back and enjoy their golf game and enjoy their gym time again.
Let me bring this back to the spine. So how does the spine affect a golf swing? So when we talk about hyperlordosis, when you have an increased spinal curvature, that limits your spinal range of motion, decreases power, and you're prone to spinal disc bulge. Okay. When you have an hypolordosis, and you see those people, especially the older people, when their spine actually curving, that again limits your spinal range of motion, decreased power, degenerative disc disease, and weakening spinal musculature. And as we know, the spine allows you to move and allow you to, especially in golf, allow you to get a good swing. And if those things are not properly aligned over time, there's no way you can really enjoy the game that you love, and there's no way you can get a proper turn on the ball and proper distance. So again, your spine is central to everything that you do. So making sure that the atlas is proper position and your spine is proper position is going to benefit you in all aspects of life, and not only just athletes, but pretty much everything else.
Definitely. And a big mentor of mine and someone whose work I follow closely is Dr. Kelly Starrett. He's a big guy in the CrossFit world. He works with a lot of the military. He works with a lot of elite athletes and sports teams. And he describes, the human body as a mover for the central nervous system. So the entire purpose of your body is to get your brain and your nervous system from point A to point B. And you have three primary engines in your hips, and your shoulders, and your spine. And the spine is actually the primary engine that powers all the other engines. So when people lose function in either their legs or their arms, and people go immediately to treat those different injuries. So, what people need to realize is that fixing the arm and fixing the leg will do you no good until you fix the central engine, if there's a problem in that central engine.
Yeah. And again, it's all a stupid analogy that I use in my office, but it makes sense. If you show up in your house today and all the lights were off, and you keep switching them on, they're not coming on, would you actually go to every light bulb and change those light bulbs? Or would you actually go to the fuse box and see what's going on with that? So again, the brainstem area where the atlas is the place that we work, that's the fuse box. So when things are not working properly, we go and change the light bulbs by taking an injection, by taking the pain, by that's gonna make you work for a little bit, but in order to restore power completely, you need to take pressure off the brainstem to allow the body to communicate.
And that's really where we come in, is because NUCA provides the ability for us to look at the brainstem with a great deal of specificity. So a lot of people will go to different doctors and they'll get a gross manipulation of their spine, and they'll say, oh, you know what, that felt pretty good. The problem must be solved.
Yeah.
So what people need to have is, you need objective evidence that your spine is actually better off. And that's one of the things that we provide, is through the pre and post x-rays, through the nerve scans that we do, is not only will people feel better, but they will actually see physical hard evidence that their spine is better off than it was before.
And I think that's one thing that separates us with everybody else, because again, me popping your spine and you feeling good, it's good, but in the long run you come back and you have the same problem. But me delivering a very specific adjustment based on what I actually see on x-ray, and not only that, after the adjustment, actually taking those same exact x-rays and you can see the difference right away, the people, and not only that, it provides a sense of, okay, I know for a fact that I did something, and I know for a fact you are better off than when you came in, and your body's going to start healing itself. It gives me a greater level of confidence to know that what I did is actually going to work. But also, even when people don't feel anything with the adjustment, because it's so gentle, people live with a sense of, okay, the x-rays look good, everything looks good, so it's just a matter of time, and that in itself is valuable beyond belief, because you can actually see the pre and post and the difference that it makes immediately.
Yeah, that's 100% right. And this is what I see, because I work with a lot of CrossFitters, and a lot of them are starting to come to the point where they're getting their spine checked proactively. And there's some people where I don't even need to adjust them, because I haven't seen a subluxation there. But they'll come in proactively, they'll get checked, and they'll get adjusted if needed without any pain. And one of the byproducts of that is people are starting to see, better balance on some of their lifts, like the overhead squat, like a deadlift. They're noticing some stronger pull in their hips. And there are people with injury, once they recover from that injury, they're actually noticing that their bodies are moving a little bit better and more efficiently than it was before the injury even occurred.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because as an athletic trainer, one of the main things that I used to see, especially in athletes, it's always they get injured, and we put them on the wobble board, we put them on the ball, trying to get their balance back. And I dealt with a lot of ankle injuries and knee injuries, and the wobble board, what it's doing is stimulate the mechanoreceptors as far as balancing the ankle. Now, interestingly enough, the the ankle has the second most concentration of mechanoreceptors. Guess where the number one mechanoreceptor site is?
I don't know. Tell me.
The atlas. As if you didn't know. So again, when we see injuries, and again, I didn't know that as an athletic trainer. We're doing this over and over and over and getting people back on the field. But imagine if back then, if I knew that, I would do this and do what we do here and adjust the atlas. And that's why when I see people in my office and they come in as athletes and they leave and they're like, oh my God, it makes such a difference in my game. And that's the atlas. By stimulating the mechanoreceptors both here and what you do on the field there, that actually gives your body a greater chance to actually perform than just fixing the ankle like I used to do back in the days.
Yeah, and I actually took care of this woman that I met at a triathlon. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and she had initially come in to see me because she had some minor knee pain, but her subluxation was pretty severe. So, we started taking care of her. We got her head and neck squared away, and of course the knee pain resolved pretty quickly, but not even 2 or 3 weeks after she started getting care and she was back on her triathlon course again, she actually PR'd her triathlon by more than 5 minutes, which is, outrageous in terms of people that regularly do this. Shaving 5 minutes off your time is, you're moving quickly.
And that's the thing, I don't ever want to take it casually when these things happen, because they happen so often we tend to do that. But same thing, I worked the A1A marathon not recently in Fort Lauderdale, and I got a lot of patients that are coming in from that trying to increase their time, but most of the time they come in because they have back pain and knee pain. But every single one of them, when they came back and after they run again, they always do better, but they don't associate it with what we do because the pain is gone, so they think that's it. But just like you mentioned, when you in proper biomechanical balance, the body's using less energy to just stand up straight. When you stand up straight, really the only muscle that should be activated is your calf muscle. Everything else should be pretty stable. But when you off balance, then the body, the postural muscle in your neck and your back is trying to keep you stabilized. That's energy being wasted on that could be used for other things. So by giving the proper NUCA adjustment, getting you back on straight, getting your posture back, getting you the gravity center back on center again, the body's able to be more efficient and using the energy for the things that you need rather than wasting energy just keeping your head on straight.
I think the simplest way to put it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when your spine is out of balance, then your spinal muscles are literally robbing your body of ATP and energy and oxygen.
Yeah. I wish I could say you're wrong, but you're not. So we just got a few more minutes left, folks. I have these gifts. I'm dying to give them away. So the next person that called may get all 3 of them. So definitely give us a call at 1-888-565-1470. 1-888-565-1470. So in closing, let's really get into what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, and this is something that I think is something that's really important to cover because we live in Florida, and as everyone knows, Florida drivers tend to be terrible and it's never
especially
you
when it's raining.
Yeah, and it's never you. It's never you. It's always the other guy. So I'm not blaming you guys out there, not our listeners. I'm blaming the people that run into you. So we're going to be talking about whiplash, and whiplash is something that people are finding out that it's a lot more severe than what we originally thought. And there's a doctor by the name of Scott Rosa that practices up in New York, and he's showing that people with whiplash are actually showing levels of brain injury, and people with whiplash are also much more susceptible to chronic pain syndromes like fibromyalgia. So we'll be covering a lot of that and how people can recover from that next week.
Yeah, and it's a great point because again, a lot of people have accidents and injuries, and specifically car accidents, and we know the things that happen these days with pain management, all that stuff. So yeah, you go in, you get improper care, and over a long period of time, then you start developing the symptoms. That's because the atlas was never addressed. So when the atlas is out of position, put pressure on the brainstem, that in itself can create a lot of problem in the long run. So tune in next time, and we'll talk about that and give you some pointers and be able to help you with some of the things that may have happened after the whiplash.
And I think it's something that has to be addressed too, is a lot of people don't know what to do after they get into a car accident. Should they go see a doctor? Should they go see a chiropractor? And a lot of people default to calling a lot of these services, which end up just trying to scam them for their PIP money and getting them to doctors that don't necessarily care about their health and well-being, but are more concerned about getting their benefits out of them. So we're going to get some experts on here to talk about about what you should do if you get into an accident, what you should do if you are injured, and how to identify the right doctor for you when you have an injury from an accident, like getting into a motor accident.
All right, and in closing, I just wanted to mention, for those of you that are listening, I know Dr. Chung and I, we both do lectures in our office. If you're interested, this Tuesday at noon, I'm doing a great lecture that's going to talk about how your body works, cover a lot of things that we talk about here. Definitely call the office at 561-409-3594 if you're interested. This Tuesday in the office at noon, we're doing about a 45-minute lecture, really teaching you about the best kept secret in health, telling you how your body works. The difference between what we do in the office and the medical model. So call and RSVP is completely free, and that will allow you to come in and really listen into some of the things that may be beneficial for you to hear to get your body back on track.
All right, and we'll have some of these prizes that will carry over the next week. But I had a really great time on the show today. We got some great calls and some interaction today, so that was a lot of fun. It seemed like time went by fast today.
And that's what I was going to say. This is not only getting easier, but as we cover these topics, and again, both you and I, sports and athletics is something we've been doing since we were kids, and it's passion. And it's that same passion that I know you and I carry to our office, because again, it's not about sport, it's not about MS, it's not about any of these symptoms the disease that we've talked about. It's really about getting your life back, getting your nervous system functioning properly, allowing your body to heal itself. And every day when I do this in my office, I carry a level of passion because this actually helped me. So when people come in my office, you'll see that, and we are able to get you better to a point where you can actually get your life back and do the things that are important to you, including athletics and sports.
Definitely. So as always, it was a great show, Dr. Greg. I'll see you next week. We'll talk about whiplash. And our listeners, check out healyourselfradio.com, check out our archives, see some of our previous shows. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Yes, and as always, just like we talk about, everything that we talk about as far as golf and everything, we have a booklet prepared for you. So if you're interested, call our offices and we'll email those to you. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you back here on Thursday.
Join Dr. Jonathan Chung and Dr. Greg Jean-Pierre each week on the Heal Yourself radio show every Thursday at 5 p.m. Listen each week as they interview leading health experts to provide you with comprehensive and natural solutions to make your body work at its best and solve chronic health problems. Right here on 1470 AM, the Health and Wealth Network. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.